Peace, everybody. I hope I haven't been making a major mistake over the last 10 plus years. I made my first beat tutorial and uploaded it to YouTube probably in 2006, 2007. I've had a couple of people ask me recently to make some more beat tutorials, that kind of thing. I haven't really been making that kind of content lately, and there's a reason why. So back when I made my first YouTube beat tutorial, the market for that kind of stuff was wide open, right? There were very few people doing that. Now everybody's doing it, and that's fine. A lot of them are doing great jobs at it, better than what I could do. Certainly better than what I was doing back then. And the reason I was doing that back then, the reason I uploaded a beat tutorial in 2006 or 2007, it was so long ago I forget, was because I was teaching at a program called the Information Technology Academy, which was a pipeline program to the University of Wisconsin-Madison for high schoolers. It was a scholarship program, and I was teaching multimedia. Part of that, they allowed me to teach audio production, which was dope. And they had some kind of deal with, it was Sony at the time. Sony was making the Acid program. I already knew how to use Acid, and so I taught high schoolers how to make beats. And I uploaded walkthrough videos, tutorials, that kind of thing, as part of my training to learn how to do video editing, so I could teach that as well. And also because a lot of the students, I would only see them, I think every other week. And so I started uploading those tutorials so that they would just be able to watch them from home. Well, some of them caught on. Actually, most of them hit the 50,000 mark. A lot of them surpassed that and hit the 6-figure views mark, which was big for back then. Stupidly, I didn't see YouTube really as a great outlet to grow my producer brand on. When I came back, the online producer community had changed. There were all kinds of DAWs around this time, and people were still exploring. Now it's like your FL Studio gang or your Ableton, and then there are a couple people using Logic, and then there are some weirdos over here using Reaper, and some weirdos over here using Studio One, and then there's me using Magic's Acid. And so making beat tutorials just didn't make that much sense because most people were using other kinds of DAWs. Now, I did start working with Magic's directly and created some tutorials for their newer, updated versions of Acid, which I use currently, but I stopped doing the technical tutorials. What happened around 2007 too was that I started shifting my focus. At that time, I had been making beats for almost 10 years, and I was trying to turn that love and that passion and all that time that I invested, all the resources I invested into a real livelihood. I was playing shows, I was making albums with local artists, and I had more aspirations to really try, and I didn't think it was possible, but I wanted to at least give it an effort to try to see if I could turn that 9-year hobby into something a little more viable financially moving forward. So I started sharing those experiences, and then in 2008, I had this amazing opportunity, which is still crazy to think about. You all know about it, my first major placement, and it was all new to me. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. There was one other guy that I knew of that, as a beat maker, he had a hit record that was Jinx. Shout out to him. He produced the Lloyd Banks single, and I didn't understand the business. I didn't know how to navigate it, how to brand myself, and so I figured, well, I'm gonna share my experience as much as I can as it's happening to me. So I made the transition into talking less about how to make beats and all the technical stuff, and more about business, because I didn't see anyone else in the YouTube producer and the online producer community doing that. I'm not saying other people weren't doing it, I just didn't see it. That just grew from there, talking about my experiences, talking about all the mistakes I've made, talking about the successes I've had, talking about the lessons I've learned. Since then, a lot of people have started giving advice, a lot of producers who are more than qualified to give advice, and then a lot of producers who are less than qualified, producers with no major placements giving advice on how to negotiate contracts with major labels. Producers who don't make a living selling beats, giving advice on how to sell beats, or trying to sell you these little stupid ass guides, these little PDFs. Sell more beats now. I make $5,000 a second using this guide. Just send me $50 and I'll show you how to do it. There are a lot of great producers making tutorials on how to make beats, and I still make them from time to time. I try not to be DAW specific, like my video about how to make your beats sound realer and less fake. If you want a good tutorial, you can go to Chew's channel. You can go to Lifestyle Did It's channel. You can check out Simon Servita's channel. There's a lot of great content out. But the new focus now is business. It's making money. And I think it's because for the longest time, we were the people who were always chasing the rappers, trying to get some money, trying to get some notoriety, trying to convince people that we're worth paying. It's a miserable position to be in for so long. And then suddenly you have the online producer space, which I resisted a lot for a lot of the time. That was really stupid of me. There emerged this new kind of consciousness within the producer community of business acumen. So now a lot of us are sharing advice on how to grow your brand. Adam Ivy, Curtis King, DJ Payne 1, a lot of us are talking about that stuff because there's a need for good information. Look around the producer community. There are people who have no idea how to brand. They have no idea what to post on social media. I made a video talking about BeatStars contracts, and I specifically focused on the publishing section and explained how, ownership of the record, of the copyrights is still split. And even if you lease a beat, you're still entitled to those royalties. And someone left a comment 5 minutes ago saying, so if I lease a beat, do I still get royalties? Sure, I can hit my head against the wall all I want, but it just shows that even today, there's still a need for this information. And there's a lot of bad information floating around. And so, what do you do? When you're in a position like I am, or when you're in a position like anyone who has a bigger platform than me, and most producers do, it seems. What do you do but just keep trying? So that's what a lot of us are doing, just trying. What worries me is that I'm just seeing a lot of money-driven content now, and it's not bad. Like I said, there's a need for that. There's a need for good quality vetted content from experts. There was a scandal recently, not a scandal, but where someone caught another producer faking screenshots to try to sell this beat selling guide, saying I made all this money, and it wasn't even theirs. It was like a BeatStars sales screenshot that they had just taken from another producer and used it to try to prove that they were making all this money. So it's all a scam, but a lot of us producers are doing it to each other. We're doing it to rappers, and it's all in the name of money. It's not in the name of making the best music possible. It's not in the name of transitioning from working and focusing on the musicality and honing your talents and moving towards becoming a business entity and a brand. It's not in the name of any of that stuff. It's just let's get this money. Come on. Let's be transactional about it. I started making beats. I got to get rich by next week. I went from making the beat tutorials to making music business videos predominantly. I don't ever want to, and I hope this is clear, I don't ever want to make it seem as though I'm valuing the financial aspect over the musical aspect. That's not where I want the community to go. It hurts me to see that that's what a lot of producers are doing nowadays, that they're more focused on making their first sale and complaining about making their first sale rather than complaining about their sub bass being out of tune. The stuff that shows that you love the music. I love music. I'd be making music if I had to get a day job tomorrow. And I know a lot of us would be. But some of us who are getting into the game now are being inundated with all these videos that emphasize the financial aspects of branding and of making music. I can't stop that. I can't stop a paradigm shift. If I had magical powers, I would snap my fingers and all the Instagram scammers would disappear. I would snap my fingers and all the placement scammers would disappear. But what I can do is just tell you unequivocally, I would rather emphasize the musicality and the love for the music, because that's more important than the money at this point. If I didn't love music, it would have never become a living for me. Like I said, I had been doing this for almost a decade before I got a major placement. And I still look at that as a complete blessing. It wasn't something that I had coming to me. It's something that happened. And I'm grateful for it. All the online stuff, I'm grateful for that. That's not something that I'm owed. Anyone that has ever gotten a beat from me, thank you. That's not, I can't take that for granted. And I just don't want people to watch my videos and think that I'm prioritizing money over music, that I'm prioritizing financial gain over the journey, that I'm minimizing the process, because the process is important. And I'm ranting right now, so let me show a quick clip that I really like. It's from a Jetson Made interview. Very few producers had the year that Jetson had in terms of success and in terms of influence. How many people are trying to make Jetson type beats now for some quick money? Hopefully Producer Grind doesn't mind me doing this. This is the second time I've done this, I think, in a row. They interviewed him on their podcast about a year ago. He was talking about his process, and they asked a great question, as they do, about what I'm talking about the process of becoming a better producer versus the expectation of making money as a producer. He said it best, so hear it from him.
Do you encourage people to have the image before the skill, or the skill before the image? Skill before the image.
That's why I ain't really turn up till like this year, cause it was like I was trying to build up my sound. Like, so I wasn't going, I never wanted to put myself out there like to be on this before I had the music, cause it's easy to get the juice, but it's like once you got the juice, it's like what you gonna do with it? Cause if you don't got the music, you don't got the product, you over with. And they gonna be like, I mean, yeah, you doing this, but this shit whack.
Like a false promise.
Yeah. So I ain't want to cap.
And what was you doing when you was building up? Like you said, you was developing your career or your skill. Like what was you doing? Just making beats every day? Was you sending them out to artists? Like what was that process looking like?
I was just building up my sound. Like just building my sound, working with people that I could reach and like I could feel comfortable with.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like making music with versus trying to send my beats out, cause artists, like big artists, ain't like my beats. Like the only nigga who liked my beats was really like Nudie. That was the only nigga who liked my shit. Other than that, niggas ain't really like my shit. So I was like, man, fuck that. I might just work with niggas who I can work with.
Right.
And who gonna understand it, who gonna respect it.
So he spent a really long time honing his sound, working with artists who respected him for that sound. And I'm not saying you're gonna become Jetson if you follow his blueprint. That spirit of wanting to be the best, of focusing on the music, of enjoying it, of having fun, of working with people who are around you, of not expecting a placement overnight, of not getting frustrated if you don't get in contact with the top tier artists and make a killing. That's something that I think is lost, because when you go on the internet, it might seem like all of us producers are making money hand over fist, making music, or that all of us are career musicians. Very few of us are. Some of us are lying, some of us are trying to scam you. Most of us are good people with our hearts in the right places. We still love the music and we still went through the process. Look, I understand you need to make money, that's why I make these videos. But the videos that I make about making money and royalties and all that, that's to help you navigate the business on your journey. It's not because I'm telling you to skip all the musical stuff and get right to the money. Because if I had done that, if I had just come into the game wanting the money right away and expecting nothing less and turning down little opportunities and not working with my friends and not building an appreciation for the journey, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have quit a long time ago. I would have gotten frustrated, because overnight success, I'm not saying it never happens, but it's really rare. Your love for the music is your key to longevity. Just like Jetson said in the interview, he wasn't making money right away, but he wanted to focus on his sound, and he had to work with the people who appreciated that I think it's a key. It's not a secret. It's not a shortcut. It's not a guarantee. But if you are frustrated, hopefully this does help. So forgive me if you've made it to this point. Thank you so much. I love you. This is amazing. Because I was all over the place. It's late. I just wanted to talk from my heart, not off of a script or anything like that. So much success to you. Have a great weekend, month, decade, century. Peace.